This is the plaintiff, Karen Nealand. She says she and the defendant have a 21-year-old son together, and he agreed to help her purchase a car to drive herself and her son around. She has since paid off the car with the defendant, but he's making a mathematical error and still thinks she owes him $400. Bottom line, he refuses to hand over the title, so she has no other choice but to sue him for the $3,302.64 she's put into the car. This is the defendant, Timothy Rathburn. He says the plaintiff simply stopped paying off the car, so he went and took it from her driveway because his name is on it too, and he didn't want her negligent behavior to affect his good name. Bottom line, he has 4 cars already and doesn't want this one, but he just wants to be paid for it. He's accused of a miscalculation. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $975 for monies he claims the plaintiff still owes.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, these litigants have a 21-year-old son, and he bought a car so that she could drive him around town. But she paid it off, and he won't fork over the title. Now, he says she didn't pay, so he took it back. It's the case of, baby, you can't drive my car.
Thank you, Douglas. Karen Nealand, you are suing the father of your child, Timothy Rathburn, for $3,302.64 that you say he owes you on a car deal that he backed out of. Tell me what's going on.
I moved down here in November. Timmy agreed to purchase a car to help me out, and
When you said you moved down here, where are you referring to? Because
Florida.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So you moved down to Florida.
From New York.
Okay.
And to be with my son, my 21-year-old.
And you have a son with him, which is that 21-year-old?
Correct.
Okay.
And we went to an auction in Tampa.
Have you stayed in touch with him, I guess, throughout the 21 years?
Every now and then, more so my son.
Right.
And when I came down, he was like, well, we can go to the Tampa auction and, get a car and you could pay me back. And I said, well, that's fine. I could give you so much a month until it's paid off. So we did purchase the car. It was like $2,600, but with tax, $28.
What's the exact amount of the car?
$28.
What's the exact amount of the car?
$28.88.
And you're buying her a car? How come?
Well, I figured it's my son's mother. At least, she paid me back. I know she gets a disability check every month.
All right. So then you start paying the car, right?
Correct.
And you pay how much?
I gave him, I was
How much are you paying a week or a month or whatever?
Well, he wanted outrageously. It was $500 down and $200 a month, but you don't pay. He's like, you don't pay rent. You get an Obama check. I want $500.
What's an Obama check? I want one.
I want $500 a month.
I pay Obama checks. I want to know what the Obama.
I want $500 a month and this and that. And I said to my son, T, I can't give him $500 a month. I don't know if he thinks Obama gives me millions of dollars a month.
How much is Obama giving you and why? What are you talking about? What is it we're talking about?
My disability check.
Oh.
Obama check. He calls it an Obama check. I don't make $30.70 an hour.
Check.
Yes. Okay. And I said, T,
there was actually something I didn't know.
I said, T, I don't make $30.70 an hour. I don't know where he thinks I get all this money from.
And therefore, the first month you paid how much?
I paid $737 altogether.
The first month?
Yeah.
Is there any dispute about that?
I disagree. She paid me $250 in November, the month we got the car, November 10th we purchased it. And then in December, she did give me $400. I have it written down in my calendar because I was just writing it on the calendar.
Here's my bank statement.
Where are you writing it? Why don't you guys have receipts? Wait, stop. Who's keeping track of how much money goes from here to there and there to here?
I am.
You both are. How are you keeping track, folks?
Right here, I have it detailed because I know how he is.
You write it down on a calendar?
Yes, because I know how he is.
So you write it down on a calendar. And you, how are you keeping track?
Writing it on my calendar.
On a calendar. Because apparently receipts are no good for you. You would rather go home and scribble your own thing on a calendar and then have dueling calendars in court than have an actual receipt, which is proof. Because if every time you give him cash, he hands you a receipt, then you can show him, look, you're wrong about how much I owe. Here's your signature on each
asked
receipt.
him for a receipt, and he said I didn't need one. He'd keep track of it on a calendar, and I said, well, that's fine.
Are you kidding me?
And I said, I'll keep track of it on my calendar.
So that for everybody's protection, why wouldn't you hand her a receipt?
Well, she comes to my, she only stays a block away from my house. She's over my house almost every day.
What does that have to do with writing something down on a piece of paper?
She's going to move into a house that I'm purchasing. So if she didn't pay the car off, she wasn't going to move into the house.
No.
See?
No.
My
But
point.
what's wrong with both of you? Why would you hand cash over to somebody who's not giving you a receipt? Cash would never leave this hand without a receipt going into this hand.
I understand where you're coming from, and I understand how he is, and I should have got receipts because he's never going to change, but I figured, if I write it on my calendar, the money that I took out of the bank proves like the alternator.
Well, that or you could just fill up a calendar for court and then show me your ATM withdrawals. Show me your bank. I don't know. Show me your bank records.
Look, right here, alternator.
Well, you too. I don't know
for the car.
Because if you were handing receipts, then you could look at her and say, anytime she handed me cash, Judge, I gave her a receipt.
Here.
So if she can't produce receipts for all that, then she didn't pay it.
Okay, thank you.
How much do you say she paid in November?
$250.
In November. How much do you say she paid in December?
$400.
Okay. Now she has a notation on her little calendar that January 4th she gave you $400.
I didn't see nothing for January.
$400.
Hold on. Okay. According to you, she gave you nothing in January, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Now to prove that she gave you $400, she is going to hand me something that says ATM withdrawal $500, cash payment on card. Which is interesting because that's on the 7th, not on the 4th, which tells me how much I can trust your notes. Because you claim that you paid him on the 4th.
Well, I mean, I didn't give it to him to the 7th, but.
No, sweetheart, reverse that. You put on your calendar that you paid him on the 4th. You put your ATM withdrawals on the 7th, so you couldn't have paid him on the 4th. So clearly your calendar notes are not contemporaneous with paying him, so I can't trust them. You're creating them to show how much you think you paid.
I did pay him.
So now what happens?
every
According
month.
to you, how much does she pay you total?
Well, the $22.50.
How much do you say you paid total?
I paid it off.
No, how much do you say you paid totally?
I paid more than enough.
How much do you say you paid total?
How
much? The next thing has to be a number, not word. How much do you say you paid totally?
I paid 28. I paid it. That's why I did not
28.
pay him in April.
Okay.
And then he told the police, tell her to give me $300, I'll give her the title. And he's countersuing me for $500 or $700 more.
So what ends up happening? You repossess the car in April?
April 6th.
How do you repossess it? You
I
just ask her
walked
for
over
it?
there and got it
No.
because she's only a quarter of a block away.
The car is in
staying.
your name.
Yeah. And
So
her
you
name.
go over there and you just take it.
Yeah,
Did
with
you
no
warn her
tag
that
on
you
it.
were coming or no?
No. Your Honor, he came down to where I was staying and took the car in the morning. He works nights.
And?
Then he tells my son, my 21-year-old son, if I catch you talking to your mother, I am evicting you and your girlfriend. I will go down to the court and file
Did you really do
papers.
that?
And my son doesn't even
my son
talk
just
to
went
me.
to court last week. She filed a restraining order on my son. So that's
Yes,
court
Your
record.
Honor, I did because he acts
I
like
didn't
his
say that.
father. He pinches me, pulls my hair, calls
Whatever
me
it was.
names, just like him.
So can you make a deal with your ex if you have a kid that goes beyond what the judge said in the child support thing?
Yes, you can.
Why do you say that? Because usually you have to follow exactly what the judge said.
Well, I would say it was legitimate based upon the agreement between the two.
Well, that's the thing, is it? I mean, do you have to always follow what the judge says, or can you make a side deal that goes beyond?
I think you can make a deal. I mean, as long as it's an agreement between both of them.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll find out going inside the courtroom.
So you took the car back.
Yep. And then she called the sheriff, and the sheriff, there's nothing they could do about it.
Because he locked it behind me.
Stop. And then the sheriff says, the sheriff conveys your counter offer of, look, let's just settle this and pay $300 more.
No.
And she says no.
I said I'd sell her. Just give me $1,500, and I'll give her the
$1,500. Even according to you, that's not what's left.
No.
Stop.
Okay.
Even according to you, that's not what's
No,
left.
I would give her $1,500 for the car.
Oh, you give her
Because of
$1,500.
depreciation, I got the mileage right here. She put 5,000 miles on the car,
No.
and the cracked dashboard and the wear and tear on the car. I'll give you $1,500 for the car, and you can go on your way. And she didn't want that.
Okay, because she claims that she's entitled to $2,800
Yeah,
back because you
yes.
repossessed it and you didn't have a right to repossess it.
Yes.
But you can't prove that because you don't have any receipts. And then you claim that she still owes you $700 and something, but you can't prove that because you don't give receipts. And nobody can prove anything.
No. Can I just say one thing? Because I seen him and somebody else under the hood of it. He's despiteful and nasty, and he's the type that would put sugar in the gas tank if I was awarded the car back.
Oh, I'm not going to give you the car back.
I don't want the car back.
No, I'm not going to give you the car back. You may not know that you two should not have contact with each other. I do.
I do.
I know that there should be nothing left but closure after I'm done. And I'm about to give you some sorely needed closure in about 30 seconds. Okay, there's no question. I would never order the car to go back. The question is, did he have a right to repossess it?
No.
Hold on.
Do you have an off button?
That was rhetorical. That wasn't
Press
for you.
Sorry.
Press it. I can't get 3 words in without you chiming in. Stop. The question is, did he have a right to repossess that car? Let's start with the lawsuit. You have a lawsuit against him where you're asking for all this money. I want the money back I paid for the car, which means I used a car for 4.5 months or 5 months without having to pay for it at all. All right. And then I've got $150 in gas because magically your old car didn't use gas. And then $100 for groceries and
Stereo.
a stereo left in the trunk. Okay. Were there groceries in the car when you repossessed it?
Yes.
No. And was there a stereo in the trunk when you repossessed it?
No, she
Okay.
was tempted to put one in at one time.
Okay.
Because they cracked the dash. I
And
have
you're
a picture
saying
of
I
that.
get all that money back because he illegally repossessed it because I was paid up. But you cannot prove you were paid up because you didn't bother to ask for a single receipt. You cannot prove she wasn't paid up because you don't provide receipts. And you both have this cockamamie-silly explanation that you write things on calendars, which we all know we can't trust because we already saw at least one deficit. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You leaving?
Ma'am? What are you doing? Put your file down and show me a little bit of respect. Okay? Because I didn't put you in this situation. You did. No, you did. You shouldn't have taken anything from him. Okay? You should have waited and bought a car when you could. There's public transportation in Florida. I know. I live there. All right? So now here we are. I'm going to order you to return a portion of the money.
A portion.
You need to be quiet because in a minute you're going to get nothing. You're on the verge of getting nothing.
Just let him keep it.
Okay. So as much as I would like to just get off the bench
you can't
now,
do it.
I got a job to do, so I'm going to finish doing the job. If you want to leave, go ahead and leave. Go ahead, walk out. Go ahead, go. No, I don't want to hear your key jingling anymore. Go ahead and step out. Have her step out, please.
All right, ma'am, you have to go.
Just,
Yep.
I don't.
Just step out.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Go to your left. Your left. Yeah.
Because I can't make heads or tails of the contract that you guys had, and because I cannot make heads or tails of the amount of money that have been paid, and because I cannot make heads or tails of whether or not you had a legal right to repossess that car, because you two don't have the sense that God gave a billy goat in keeping track of the finances between you two, I am going to undo the deal. And that means that I'm going to attempt to put you both in the position you were in before you did this deal, which means that you have to pay something to drive a car for 4 or 5 months. That's not a free endeavor. But normally I would have a figure to back down from. Here I just got to do a little rough justice because I don't have a figure to back down from, because I don't have a clue how much was paid, because neither one of you have any sense. So I am going to order you to pay back $1,700, and we're calling it a day. Good luck, folks.
Plaintiff left the courtroom, blew right by, and wins some money in absentia here. This is the defendant in this case. Well, what are you two doing?
I don't know. I was just trying to help her out because she was in a bad relationship with her husband in New York, and she's my son's mother.
Well, you do have that son together now. That's a
Yeah.
big important piece of this whole picture right here. You're going to be that kid's parents forever. So
Oh, I know.
how do you parent for that young man?
Well, he's doing all right.
He is?
Yeah, he lives with me. He's doing good. I got him a job and everything.
All right. And does he see his mom too?
Not now. Since you put a restraining order on him last week, you can't see her.
Okay. Harvey?
You know, when you have a situation where you're borrowing money from somebody or you're required to pay something back, whatever it is, I'm telling you, just listen to me here. Keep a ledger. Both people should keep a ledger. I paid so-and-so this, and then the other person says, I received this amount, and this ledger should be updated every time money is exchanged. I'm telling you, if you don't do that, you will get in big trouble. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.